Oh, what a lovely place. It would be a real shame if something terrible happened to it. Meet Henry, our protagonist, a local peasant and the blacksmith's boy. Even though the title says that I was forced to play this game, that isn't quite true, since this is one of my favorite games of all time. I meet my father and he gives me a list of tasks I need to complete. It's surely gonna be a busy day. Apparently some local drunk is in debt to our father and now we gotta go confront him.
My father sent me to get the coin you owe him for the axe, hammer and nails.
I've got nothing. Clear off.
Since Kunesh doesn't have any money, we have to engage in a physical combat. Luckily my father has taught me a thing or two, so this won't take long. While Kunesh is asleep, I steal all of his items and hide him inside a nearby rock. I've been playing this game for 10 minutes now, and I've already fallen in love with it again. When looking at Kunesh's house, I'm sure he's not a married man. After that I head for the local tavern for a pint. Apparently these guys have some beef with my friends, so after rizzing up the local tavern maid, we go take a literal shit to this house. Suddenly the local goat lovers spawn in, and it's time for another epic fight sequence. When I go back, I find Kunesh working almost naked. This is kinda funny since I'm wearing his clothes. Also his face is completely busted from our fight. 10 out of 10 immersion. The bad news won't stop for Kunesh, since I realized I still haven't got the money from him. Luckily my friends agree to help me. We find Kunesh gooning inside, and since he doesn't have anything to lose, he decides to take on all 5 of us at the same time. I bring all the shit back to my father and we finish up the sword he's been working on.
Look at that, lad. Well, that's what I call craftsmanship. Fine lass, eh?
Shut up, you pervert. After Sir What's His Name spawns in to collect his sword, Henry gets just a chance to showcase his skills. Goddamn useless. Suddenly, we see this rider on a hurry. Something is going on. We turn around and see this absolutely massive army filled with horsemen and knights. They have come to Skalitz to steal our money and wives. Since Skalitz is filled with peasants and hobos, I think the arrow rain attack is kinda overkill. My father tells me to run and joins in the fight. I didn't realize that Blacksmith's salary has so much wiggle room to be a fucking hero. Maybe he should have just kept making the swords. Henry watches helplessly as his father falls to the ground, and after fighting valiantly, his mother gets what's coming to her as well. During this scene, we are also introduced to the antagonist of the game, this truly beautiful bald man with a glorious mustache. I try to run to the castle, but they close the gate and tell me to ride to Talmberg to warn the others about the army. I run like the wind, steal a horse, get shot to the knee, and ride for my life begging for help. The good people of Talmberg rush to my aid, asking what happened. After taking way too long, they finally pull out the arrow of my knee. After enjoying their hospitality for 10 milliseconds, I close the door and start looting the place, taking everything I can carry. Thanks a lot, chief. During the night, the lady of Talmberg pays me a visit. I find this kind of suspicious. I tell her everything that happened in Skalitz, including my parents getting murdered, trying to score some sympathy points. After that, the Lord of Talmberg wakes me up and tells me to join him. There's something going on outside. Outside, I am reminded how dark this game truly is during the night. Make sure you grab a torch. I finally reach the men and ask what's going on.
What's going on?
I don't know.
It turns out Sir Rattay has been able to escape the castle and they are looking for shelter. I also find it heartwarming when he asks if I'm still alive. It's just like there would be some deep connection between us. Who knows? I tell Sir Rattay about my plans going back to Skalitz and burying my parents, but he isn't too keen about this idea.
Sir, quiet!
In the morning, Henry's nightmares become reality when the same army which destroyed Skalitz shows up in Talmberg. The Lord of Talmberg tells them to get fucked or fuck off, and the bald man accepts the deal.
Very well, sir. As you wish.
Even though they told me not to, I'm still committed to head back to Skalitz to bury my parents. So a robot told me not to go, so I try to bribe the guards to open the gate. Thinking on the fly, I lure this innocent villager to this tiny hut, where I physically and mentally abuse him and steal all of his belongings. I make sure to close the door and warn the local guard about the hobo sleeping in the hut. When I'm heading off to Skalitz, I come across this terrifying sight. All of the local townfolk have been butchered and piled up here to rot. After pulling up my pants, I decide to loot their stuff as well. Advancing further, I find this bandit doing the exact same thing. I tell him to stay out of my territory, but he ain't listening. The good old axe to asshole is the only right choice. After hanging around, I find another bandit looting the corpses. These guys have no morals. I run after him and take his life as payment. Apparently killing bandits who are abusing corpses makes me lose reputation in this game. Go figure. I finally reach Skalitz and have an emotional moment with my parents. While trying to find a shovel to bury them with, I come across this dude having a fight with the dog. I accuse him of looting the corpses and tell him to fuck off. After looting the corpse, it's time to bury my parents. But before I can do that, these guys show up out of nowhere. They tell me that they want my sword, but they can grab it from my cold, dead hands. Maybe I just should have stayed in Talmberg. When this big guy climbs on top of me ready to nail me, the Risa spawns out of nowhere to save the day. The cavalry rides in to take out the trash. Carrying all the loot from the corpses had made me so tired that I proceed to sleep for several days. I finally wake up and the game can begin. First order of business, I have to repay this guy for sleeping here, so I need to get some ring for him he wants. But not before visiting the big city to inform everyone that I'm still alive. Also during the night, I lend some helpful items from the local shopkeeper.
Hey, where's your tool?
Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Suddenly I'm equipped with a full set of armor. Also knowing how to use a sword in this game is really important, so I decided to participate in some training. Hans shows up to yap his mouth, but disappears like a coward. The captain congratulates me for being a useless peasant, and now I have to battle Hans on this archery contest. Luckily Hans can't hit shit, so I completely butcher his ass. Hans wants their revenge with the sword fight, but I proceed to literally murder him. After killing a nobleman, I think it's best to disappear into the woods and maybe get that ring that the old guy was looking for. I reach the place and find this guy minding his own business. I also notice that the sword on his hips is way too nice for a common peasant like him. I wait to the night, only to figure out that this guy apparently doesn't sleep at all. I need to resort to the good old 360 and choke him out. For good measures, I decide to loot his house as well. I quickly escape the scene and disappear into the night. I hope that this old guy is happy now. He is so impressed about my endeavors that he tells me that he can teach me how to pickpocket, and he even can buy the stolen goods from me. Good man. When entering the city, to my surprise, the guards start to chase me. I try to be smart and drop the stolen sword and try to talk my way out of it. I pay the guard and pick up the sword. For fuck's sake. Heading off the next quest, I first decide to try out my new skill. I report for duty and tell them that I'm available to help out in the city. I go pick up my guarding uniform and sell it immediately to the local shopkeeper. It's finally time to repay the city their hospitality. I join the Nightingales, which is basically a bunch of boy scouts patrolling the city, keeping order, sucking the fun out of everything. While the captain is lecturing the local hobo, I go to the nearby house to do some business. After this I pretend to be completely clueless when me and the captain go investigate the crime scene. We also find one of the guards drinking on the job. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
What the fuck are you doing here when you're supposed to be on the gate?
The captain proceeds to fire the guard, but he takes that a little bit too literally. I gamble and drink with the captain until our shift is over. After notifying the town that it's time to close up, I find Hans still drinking with his buddies. Me being a common peasant and Hans being a nobleman, I know there's only one right way to handle this. I'm showing Hans who's the boss, but this random guy appears and tells us to stop fighting. As a punishment, I'm forced to go hunting with Hans. This punishment is surely worse than death. Before we leave, I decide to go buy some new gear for the trip and get caught trying to sell stolen goods to the local shopkeeper. I finally go meet Hans and he's waiting for me eager to start the trip. For ultimate humiliation, Hans doesn't give me a horse, so I just have to jog behind him like his dogs. I guess he's still mad about that sword swing. Luckily this local tavern lets me lend their horse, and after encountering some trouble on the way, I finally reach the hunting camp. We agree on a friendly hunting competition with Hans, which I decide to just wait out since I don't give a shit. Eventually we come across this boar, which Hans thinks is killable with the arrow and bow, and after the shot, the boar surprisingly jumps back up and storms off.
Mount up, Henry.
Since I don't have a horse, I'm kinda confused what should I mount, so I just proceed to aimlessly walk through the woods. It's been several minutes and I still haven't found Hans. While holding back tears, I come across this villager and I ask for his help.
Here! Don't let him get away!
I finally find Hans. He has been captured by these bad men. I decide to be the hero and storm in to show these guys who is the Henry of Skalitz. Hans can witness while I butcher these guys. After the fighting is over, I make sure to grab all the valuables, and I also of course free Hans. Hans thanks me for saving him, and I'm starting to think we are becoming friends. I get back to the city, sell all of my loot, and fast travel to Neyhaf. Apparently something terrible has happened here, and it's my job to figure it out. I try my best, but it turns out that no one saw or heard anything. Useless. While I investigate this house, the owner gets super mad for some reason, and now I have to pay for it. After resisting the urge to start a murder spree, I head off to the woods. Apparently some of the bandits were spotted there, and surely after investigating for 10 meters, I find them hiding in the bushes. There is a strange item in one of the bandits' inventory, and after questioning the townfolk about it, I figure out that it belongs to someone named Ginger. a local peasant. I tell the captain about this and we agree that I must go after him. And like I wasn't busy enough, the captain also tells me there's a bandit camp nearby I need to handle. Apparently they cannot do anything by themselves and deem it smart to send a local peasant to handle this. After pummeling the first one, I decide to sneak in to take out the rest. These camp leaders especially can be a kinda tough battle. After killing the last guard and looting all their shit, I'm extremely surprised to still find one bandit sleeping here. What is this guy on? Heading off back to the city, my inventory is full of armor and swords, ready to be sold. After that, it's back to the captain to collect my reward. It's also time to continue the main quest line. The ginger guy is still yet to be found. I find these local miners and ask for their help. They tell me that Ginger is hiding in this tiny hut in the middle of the woods, so I make my way there. Sure enough, I find Ginger gooning inside. I ask him about the raid, but he doesn't seem to know anything. But luckily he tells me that he recognized few of the bandits. I grab my reward from Ginger and head off to my next adventure. It's time for Henry to learn how to read. For that, I need to travel to this faraway town. Far away. Conveniently, the local scribe has all the time in the world for me, and we start the learning. And one skipped cutscene later, we are now able to read. On my way back to civilization, I decide to take out this bandit camp. It turns out that sneaking in at night requires much less hassle, and I put the bandits to sleep. Oh, would you look at that? This guy didn't wake up. Back to the city, it's the usual business. Henry is slowly building up reputation and becoming stronger and stronger. I also make sure to sneak into this nearby bookstore and buy all the books they have in stock. I sit by the nearby bench and start an absolutely massive studying streak. Being a new local hero, I decide to clear out one more bandit camp. They all storm in, smelling the poop in my pants. Luckily I save myself with an absolutely glorious one-hit kill. Still taking on 2 enemies in the same time at this game, it's usually a death sentence. Luckily, with the last bit of stamina I have left, I'm able to take down the last archer. I make sure to bring the bandit's ears to the captain, because apparently he has some sort of fetish for those. After that, it's time to take a long trip to Uchitz. Apparently I need to question some guy here about the raid, but seeing this big crowd in front of his house, that really takes your hopes down. They open the door for me and I find out that the guy I was looking for is now more meat than man. I investigate the shit out of this place and find out nothing. I go to the local priest to ask if he knows anything about the murdered guy. We engage in a hand-to-hand combat, after which the father goes to sleep to the bench while I steal his stuff. Later on we meet in the bar and talk about life, the current events, our hopes, dreams, sorrows, heartbreaks, and everything. I also tell him what happened in Skalitz to the full detail. Next up, we proceed to cut loose and drink way too much. We gamble, arm wrestle, and cause all sorts of mayhem. After fighting outside with the local authorities, we grab ourselves a few ladies and head to the church. In the church, Henry and the priest are forced to engage in an absolutely horrifying event, which shall not be talked about. After having a great night, me and the priest witness sunrise together. Don't you just love this game?